All right, shalom, shalom. I'm the brother Zakaya, coming at you from the JMS Campbell in the church. Now, before I even continue on with this lesson, I want to say Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. Call Halayon La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Chakodash. Giving double honors to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations towards your hopeful elect that's been sincerely pushing the truth. Again, I'm the brother Zakaya, coming at you from the GMS Campbell in the church. Back at it again with another lesson in the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, that the whole world annually call God in Jesus Christ. All right, their true and correct names are Yahweh, Yahweh Shah, which is the only begotten Son. Now, the Spirit has been on me to do and go back to the Hebrew, okay? And today I'm going to be doing a lesson in the Hebrew booklet PDF. Now, I received this 2 years ago. Now, once I received this, man, this is a big help. So I highly recommend, newer brothers or brothers that probably don't know about this book, I highly recommend getting this book. As you can see right here on the screen, man, it has the 12 tribes, certain prayers, the Shemai, commandments, so on and so forth, man. It's a pretty good book. Pretty solid. You can learn a lot from it. Time, saying certain things, synthesis, conversation. Okay. Well, you got 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10 right here. Then it starts back up again at 11, and so on and so forth, man. So it's a pretty dope Hebrew booklet. Excuse me. So call Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah for this book, because again, this book actually really helped me, and this is what I'm going to be doing the lesson on today on, which is the 12 tribes right here, as you can see. All right. And the first tribe, of course, we're going to do, starting with the head tribe of the southern kingdom, is the tribe of Judah. All right. This represents you so-called Negroes. All right. The tribe of Judah. All right. Which means Yahweh thinks. And this is how you would say it in the Hebrew. Yahweh. Okay. And of course, they got the characters right here in the Hebrew, the Paleo Hebrew. All right. You want to pause the video, probably, write some of these down as I go through it. But the first tribe is Judah. All right. Again, which means Yahweh thinks, which means Yahweh, and it represents you so-called Negroes. All right. You guys are not Negroes. You're from the tribe of Judah. Yahweh thinks, Yahweh. Okay. Now, number 2 on the list right here, we have Benjamin. Okay. Son of the right. That's what it means. Benjamin, son of the right, which represents you so-called West Indians. Okay. There's Banyanyam. All right. I'm going to say it again. Ban-yam-yun. All right. And I'm glad, again, that I found this book when I found it. And, they got the little space markers right here that would actually help you properly pronounce these words. So you would say, Ban, Yum, Yun. Put them all together. Ban, Yum, Yun. Okay. Which is the son of the right. That's what it means. And again, which represents you so-called West Indians. All right. The tribe of Benjamin, which is also in the southern kingdom. Okay. And this is what it looks like. If you want to pause the video, do your thing. Now, continuing on, number 3 on the list, we have Levi. Okay. Levi, which means join to me. All right. Or join unto me. Okay. This is how you would say it in the Hebrew. Loyah. I'm going to say it one more time. Loyah. Which represents you so-called Haitians. All right. Which is also a part of the southern kingdom. Really, it's 3 parts, 3 tribes in the southern kingdom. That really concludes the southern kingdom. But remember, we're living in a time well, the southern kingdom right here, and the northern kingdom, according to prophecy, is all gathering up back together in one faith, one baptism, and one Lord. Okay? Which I could be wrong. I think that's in the book of Ephesians. I could be wrong. I'm just roughly paraphrasing that scripture. But again, number 3 on the list, Levi, which means join unto me or joint to me. Leah. Okay, Leah. And this is what it would look like. Again, which represents you so-called Haitians. Okay, and that concludes the southern tribe. Now we're gonna go to the northern kingdom. Now Ephraim is the head tribe of the northern kingdom right here. But we're just gonna follow the list. Okay? We're gonna pick it back up at number 4, Simeon. Okay, Simeon. You so-called Dominicans. Alright? That's your tribe. You so-called Dominicans. Which means affliction heard. You can get all these definitions and who they came from, who buried who in Genesis, man. Okay? To do a quick little search and it should pop up. Alright? So again, number 4, Simeon, which means affliction heard, which represents you so-called Dominicans. Alright? Shammai 1. I'm going to repeat it. Shammai 1. Shammai 1. And this is how it will look like in the Paleo Hebrew. Now, number 5 on the list, we have Zebulun. All right? Zebulun, which means dwelling. Okay? Dwelling, which represents you so-called Panamanians and you Guatemalans. Okay? This is your tribe. Zebulun. Dwelling, my dwelling. Zabala 1. Zabala 1. Zabala 1. I put all together. Zabala 1. Which, again, here go the characteristics. Probably write that down. I'm gonna write it down myself. Now, number 6 on the list was the head tribe. All right. It's Ephraim. And when I say head tribe, it's the head tribe of the northern kingdom, not the southern. All right. Really, the ultimate head tribe is Judah anyway, over all tribes. All right. But I'm doing it, southern and northern, if that makes sense. All right. Number 6, you have Ephraim, which means I am fruitful. Okay, I am fruitful. All right, which represents you so-called Puerto Ricans. All right, and this is how you would say it in the Hebrew. Aparayam. Aparayam. Put it all together. Aparayam. Aparayam. Okay, and there go the characters for that. All right. Number 7 on our list, we have Manasseh. All right, Manasseh, which means made to forget. I'm going to repeat it, made to forget. All right, which represents you so-called Cubans. All right, and this is how you will say it in the Hebrew. Manasseh. 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 Okay. And that's the tribe of Manasseh. Again, which represents you so-called Cubans. All right. Now, at number 8, we have Gad. All right, Gad, which means troop. I'm going to say it again, troop. All right. Which represents you so-called North American Indians. All right, this is your tribe, Gad, which means troop. God in the Hebrew, and this is what it would look like. Okay, you got Gada right there. Gada. but you wouldn't say Gadah. You wouldn't say that. You're gonna drop that A, because this is the Da right here. This character right here. This is Ga. So Ga, Da. But remember, you're gonna drop that A. And I'm just doing this now. And I should have did it with the rest of the tribes, but I'm doing it now because it just hit me to say this right quick for an example. You would drop that A right here and it would just be God. Alright? And this line right here, it helps you connect. Like, it helps me. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it helps, many other brothers too. But it for sure helped me. Okay? These different gaps and, certain lines and stuff like that. It helps you pronunciate different words a little bit more better, a little bit more fluently, But yeah, I just wanted to point that out right quick. So now going back to number 9, Reuben. Okay, Reuben, which means C is a son. C is the son, and there's a reason for that because Reuben is actually the first son. Okay, read the story on that. That's why the definition is C is the son. It's a son. Okay. It says Ra'aban. All right, Ra'aban, which represents, this tribe represents you so-called Seminole Indians. Okay, Ra'aban. Ra'aban. So Ra'aban. Okay, remember you're gonna drop those that A right there. You're not gonna say Ra'abana. Okay? A little joke. It's kind of funny. But that's not how you would say it. You would just say Ra'aban, okay? And number 10 on the list, we have Asher. All right, Asher, which means happy. And if you look at the, matter of fact, I'm going to say it like this. This represents you so-called Colombians and you Uruguayans. All right, you so-called Colombians and Uruguayans. Asher. And now you can actually see why the definition would be happy. Look at the so-called Colombians and Uruguayans. It's like they always happy. They always in a festive mood. They're always happy, partying, drinking, doing what they do. Yes, that Jake at the same time, Jake known for partying, man. You know what I'm saying? But this is your tribe, man. You so-called Colombians and Uruguayans. Tribe of Asher, which means happy. Which is Ashar in Hebrew. Ashar. And that's what it would look like in the Paleo Hebrew. Okay? Now going at number 11 on the list, Naphtali. All right, Naphtali, which means my wrestling. Okay? My wrestling, which is you so-called excuse me, I had some in my throat. Chileans and Argentinians, man. Okay, this is your tribe. And it says my wrestling. Napa Talia. Napa Talia. Napa Talia. Okay? And this is what it would look like. Alright? Naphtali. And last but not least, number 12 on the list, which is probably the most hard-working tribe. What I mean by that is this tribe of people right here, correct me if I'm wrong, but the truth is the truth. You can see it on their spirits. Man, they get to work. They love to work. All right? Clock in working, clock out working. They'll clock out and go work on their own house and go back home, man. I seen it. You know what I'm saying? Issachar, man. All right? Which means he is hired. You so-called Mexicans, this is your tribe, man. So-called Mexicans. Issachar, he is hired. All right? Yashar. Yashar. Okay? Yashashkar. And this is how it will look like in the Hebrew. In the Paleo Hebrew, and the characteristics. Now, I remember when I first started learning years ago. Let's see, which one of the ones that I struggle with? I believe the last two is what I struggle with. And the only thing I struggled with was the Hebrew. That's what I'm saying. You know, I'm glad this book is out, this PDF. And I'm glad that the spaces are there. Because these are the two words that I personally struggle with on saying. Say these two words over and over again, you're going to get it, you know. But yeah, man, you know, that concludes the lesson. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying, man. This is the 12 tribes of Israel, man. All right, in the Paleo Hebrew, you know, again, Lord willing was edifying. I explained who each tribe represents. All right, went over the Hebrew. We saw some of the characters. Okay, definitions, etc. And that concludes today's lesson. So until next time, shalom.